Their friend spent $50,000 on a purebred Chow Chow with champion bloodlines. She kept him for 5 days. On day 5, she knocked on Oliver and Ava's door, handed over the leash, walked back to her car, and never looked back. What happened next, nobody planned, but somehow it turned out to be exactly right. Some dogs come into your life through careful planning, through months of research, waiting lists, and quiet conversations about whether you're truly ready. And then there are dogs like Winston. Winston didn't arrive through any of those things. He arrived on a Tuesday afternoon, bundled in a designer carrier held by a woman who was already mentally somewhere else. His fur was the color of warm honey, thick and impossibly soft, his face permanently set in an expression that looked almost philosophical, like he had opinions about everything, but had decided long ago that humans weren't worth explaining them to. Oliver and Ava had no idea their lives were about to change. They were just answering the door. Riley had always done everything at full volume. When she decided she wanted a Chow Chow, it wasn't just any Chow Chow. It had to be the right one. She spent weeks researching bloodlines, calling breeders across the country, comparing champion lineages like she was selecting a racehorse. When she finally found Winston, she didn't hesitate for a second. His grandfather was a national champion, she told Ava over the phone, voice bright with excitement. His mother won 3 regional titles. I paid $50,000 for him, Ava. $50,000. He's basically royalty. Ava had smiled and said all the right things. A few days later, Riley brought Winston over to meet them. He waddled through the front door like he owned the place, sniffed the corner of the couch with great seriousness, and then sat down in the middle of the living room and stared at all 3 of them with those deep, ancient eyes. Oliver crouched down slowly. Winston looked at him, did not move, did not wag, just assessed. "He's very dignified," Oliver said carefully. "He's perfect," Riley said. The calls started that same evening. First, it was a text. "He went to the bathroom on the rug. Is that normal?" Then a call 20 minutes later. "He won't come when I call him. He just looks at me and walks away." Then another. "Ava, I don't think he likes me." Ava stayed on the phone with Riley for almost an hour that night, gently walking her through the basics: patience, routine, consistency. Chow Chows, she explained, weren't golden retrievers. They didn't perform affection on command. They were quiet, independent, and deeply loyal once they decided you were worth their time. The key word being decided. Riley was not accustomed to waiting for anyone to decide anything about her. If you haven't subscribed yet, honestly, that breaks my heart a little. Hit that button. You won't regret it. By day 3, the calls had taken on a different tone. "I researched this breed for months," Riley said. "I paid for champion bloodlines. I did everything right. Why won't he just cooperate?" Ava didn't have a good answer for that, because the truth was, Winston wasn't broken. Winston was exactly what a Chow Chow was supposed to be. He simply hadn't chosen Riley. Some dogs make that choice on their own timeline, and no amount of money or research or champion bloodlines can rush it. On day 5, there was a knock at the door. Riley stood on the porch holding Winston's leash in one hand and a small bag of his things in the other. Her expression was somewhere between guilty and completely resolved. Winston sat beside her, looking up at Ava with those calm, steady eyes. "I love him. I genuinely do, but I can't do this. I'm not built for this." She handed over the leash, walked back to her car, didn't look back once. Oliver and Ava stood in the doorway for a long moment. Winston's leash now in Ava's hand, the little cloud of honey-colored fur sitting perfectly still between them. "Well," Oliver said finally. Winston looked up at him. "I guess you live here now." Stories like this don't follow a plan, but somehow the ones that don't always seem to find exactly where they belong. The first 2 weeks were an education. Winston did not fetch. Winston did not perform tricks for treats. Winston did not come running when you called his name. He would hear it, tilt his head slightly, and then continue whatever he had been doing with the quiet confidence of someone who had already considered your request and declined. But slowly, something began to shift. It started with Oliver. Every morning, Oliver made coffee before anyone else was awake. He would sit at the kitchen table in the early quiet, and after about 4 days, Winston started appearing in the doorway at the same time, not asking for anything, just present, sitting a few feet away, watching the morning arrive with him. Oliver started talking to him during those mornings. Nothing important, the weather, what he was thinking about, what they might do that weekend. Winston never responded, of course, but he also never left. And for Oliver, that turned out to be enough. With Ava, it happened differently. She was working late one evening, laptop open on the couch, and at some point she realized Winston had moved from his bed across the room and was now pressed gently against her side. Not demanding attention, not asking for anything, just close. She put her hand on his back without thinking. He didn't move away. Riley still asks about him sometimes, how he's doing, whether he's warmed up yet. Ava always tells her yes, and means it more every time. There was one evening, about 3 months in, that Ava thinks about often. She had come home later than usual, tired in the way that goes deeper than just the body. She opened the front door and didn't even turn the lights on right away, just stood there in the hallway for a moment. And then she felt it, a warm, solid weight pressing gently against her leg. Winston, just there, quietly announcing that the day was over and she was home now. She sat down right there on the hallway floor. He climbed, slowly, with great dignity, into her lap. All 55 pounds of him folded into the smallest possible version of himself just to fit. She laughed for the first time all day. Oliver likes to joke that Riley did them the greatest favor of their lives without even meaning to. Winston, predictably, has no comment on the matter. He simply moves between his morning spot in the kitchen and his evening place on the couch, living entirely on his own terms. Because Winston did warm up, not overnight and not on anyone's schedule but his own, but he found his people, and somewhere along the way he stopped just tolerating the house and started belonging to it. Some bonds aren't bought, they aren't researched or planned or decided in advance. They arrive on your doorstep on a Tuesday afternoon, look you in the eyes, and make up their own mind. Winston made up his, and Oliver and Ava wouldn't change a single thing about how it happened. If you think animals choose their people, or if you think people choose their animals, tell me in the comments. I'd love to know which side you're on.